Now this crack here has nothing to do with appearance because nobody's ever going to see it. But if this crack isn't caulked up, then water can get in it and it's going to rot and deteriorate and mess up the work. So this one is not about appearance, this one's about protecting the work that I've done and making it work right. All this trim is brand new, freshly installed, primed, and now I'm caulking up all the cracks. So when you put on the top coat, it's a smooth, complete, even surface. See right in here? See the cracks down in there? Yada, yada, yada. So when the paint goes on, it looks like, and everything is absolutely tight and sealed. And the worst thing I hate when I go into somebody's house after they've had work done and watch or look at their space. It's got great carpentry, great painting, but they didn't bother to caulk. And so you see all these cracks in the wood and the trim and all this beautiful work that's diminished because there's all these cracks showing that never got caulked up. It's been 21 years doing it full time. I dibbled and dabbled from the time I got my first apartment when I was 20 years old, which would have been about probably 67. My landlord, after he paid for materials and came over to see, I was paying $67 a month for an apartment, came over to see it, it was junk. I mean, it had holes in the walls, and the paint job that was probably 10 years old. He came over, he couldn't believe what the place looked like, and he was this old-time banker that wore a bow tie and suspenders, and he said, you turned this place into a real palace, real palace. I lived there for 3 years and left, and we raised the rent from $67 a month to $180 a month, just because of what I had done to it. It was insane. Of all the things I do, the carpentry gives me a chance to really do something that I love. And what I like to do, and if people can't afford it or aren't interested, it's okay, they can get somebody else to do it. But most of what I do, as I said earlier, is in the fan. These places are 100-year-old buildings. And when I get done, even though everybody looks at it and knows that it's just been done, the way I do it, it looks as if it could have been done. It's been, the trim is right. It matches the rest of the trim in the house. It's not something that says, oh, look what they just did out back. And I'm sure there's some people who think that, yeah, this was always like this, and they have no idea that it's a totally brand new, but it matches all the trim and the architecture of the space. A big part of what I do is go in and take out all the butchery and mutilation and scars. The trim that doesn't match the modern trim, that's the wrong size, doesn't look like anything else in the house. And you walk into that room and you say, oh, look what they did to this room. Instead of, oh, it looks like it always was this way. There's one secret to life, to work, to success, to happiness. If it's worth doing, do it. If it's not, leave it alone. If you're going to do something, do it all the way. Do it with everything that you got. Do the best that anybody could ever do it, or don't bother doing it. And if you can just engage your stuff in that way, it doesn't matter what it is. Then whether I'm caulking a thing or painting it or doing the high carpentry or getting down crawling and fixing up rotten wood under a building, if I don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you're going to do it the best that anybody could ever do it. And success and happiness, when you go to bed at night, you'll know that you've done the absolute best that day with everything you've touched, and it doesn't get any better than that.